Hello everybody. My name is Paige and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about how you can be that girl this school year. So for those of you who don't know me, like I said, my name is Paige. I am going into my freshman year at Marquette University in literally a couple of days. My classes start in like a week and I'm moving in like 2 days, which is absolutely insane. But I have been in school my whole life. I just graduated high school with a 4.2 something GPA and a 4.0 scale. I took a bunch of honors and AP classes and scored well, straight A's, and I was involved in a bunch of different activities. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background in case you didn't know who you were taking your advice from. But let's get straight into the video. So my first tip for how to be that girl this school year is, and I think this is the most important, honestly, but it's to have an effective note-taking style. So this can look different for everybody. The one that I personally recommend and I personally use is like a hierarchy outline style. So I kind of put my heading or the title of my notes, and then I go down and I kind of break it up into different pieces. And also make sure your notes are organized. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to do any super like intense highlighting and color coding. For me, all I use is like a marker, a flare pen, and then just a black pen, and lots of whiteouts. But that's a me thing. You can use a pencil just as easily too. But I do my heading in marker, and then I put the like whatever I'm taking notes on in pen with the marker underlined, and then I just do bullet points underneath that, kind of breaking it down as far as I need to go. But there are some other examples out there. If you're not interested in like the hierarchy style, you can do like Cornell style. There's like brain map styles, and then like just simple sentences. Just make sure that you're not doing like random messy bullet points. It will make it really hard for you to come back and study later if you don't understand what you were writing, you don't understand your train of thought. So just make sure you have some sort of like organized note-taking system that'll work for you. My second tip is to please take some time to curate some Spotify playlists. If you have not started school yet, I would recommend to try and do this now. But for example, I kind of like to have multiple school-related playlists. So, I'll have more of like an instrumental study music for like my reading and writing, where I'm like more intense, more focused. I can't really be listening to lyrics. But when I'm doing like science or math, I'll typically put on just some like chill, like fall-themed, like dark academia stuff. Lots of like Taylor Swift, like the Red Album and stuff like that. With more lyrics, just kind of make it fun. Like, I also hate doing math and science, so for me, I need a little bit more than just like instrumental study music to get through it, but that's just a me thing. Find what works for you. But also, have a playlist for like when you're walking around campus or through the halls in your school, when you're sitting in a coffee shop. So kind of create multiple different Spotify playlists and just really take the time to do that, because it'll really make you feel like you're like romanticizing your life. You're in like a coming of age movie, like you're in Gilmore Girls or whatever. So my next tip is to study in different places. Do not just study in your bed or even at your desk in your room all the time. And it's perfectly okay to like, if you're really tired after a long day, like sit in your room, do your studying, whatever. But I would also really recommend to go to a library or a coffee shop. It always helps me be way more productive. It breaks up the routine and you're not distracted by things in your regular space. And also always like getting a fun little drink is always super fun. It makes it a lot more enjoyable. You really feel, again, like you're in a movie or a TV show, and it just really makes you feel like you have your life together when you carve out time to like go somewhere else to study. My fourth tip is to really make sure that you are locked in on your morning and your night routine. I'm sure you've probably seen this in like every single video you've ever watched about how to be that girl, but it is so important. You want to make sure that you are going to bed on time so that you are waking up on time and having a relaxed morning. You know, you don't want to be rushing around and forgetting things every morning. And, you know, this doesn't have to be waking up at 5 a.m. to like work out. If you're not a morning person, you do not have to do that. But it could just be waking up like an hour early to like jump in the shower and like do your makeup and your hair and like get ready without being super stressed about it. You know, put on a show while you're eating your breakfast, like, but just really have like a good night and morning routine, making sure that you're getting like 8 hours of sleep at least per night. This will also help you during the day. You'll make sure you're more energized and you won't be having to take naps. You can just kind of get through your whole day. And I would recommend that your night routine is more relaxing, winding down, getting ready for bed. And then your morning routine can also be relaxing, kind of slow, but it also should start like energizing you, getting you ready for the day. If you can incorporate movement, I would highly recommend that. You know, step outside for 5 minutes or even just open your blinds to let the light in. The light will really help, you know, reset your circadian rhythm. So, you know, make sure you just have a good night and morning routine. My next tip is to reduce your screen time and fix your attention span. You probably do not want to hear this, but this is what you need to be hearing. But these two do go very much hand in hand. If you reduce your screen time, it'll really fix your attention span. So many, like everybody has like a broken attention span, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't either, but you know, first start off by just like stopping like doom scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. You know, stop watching those short form videos. And it's okay every once in a while, but just like in moderation. Don't be just scrolling because you're procrastinating. That's just not good. That girl does not do that. Then, you know, go towards maybe like watching a YouTube video, like a 10-15 minute YouTube video without being on your phone. And then you can go towards watching shows, like actual 30-minute sitcoms without like being on your phone, being on social media during it. And then finally, like, go towards watching movies without your phone. And then, you know, continue going on. Try to carve out times of your day where you're not on your screen. You know, I try to put my phone away 30 minutes before bed, and I try not to use it 30 minutes when I wake up. So if you can do that, that would be really, really great. But, you know, start small. Start with like 5 minutes before you go to bed. Put your phone away, like, you know. And then, of course, put your phone in your backpack during class, and do not make excuses for this. There is nothing that is more important than focusing in class, especially when you're in high school. Periods are usually not that long. You know, I was actually on a block schedule, so we had 80-minute periods instead of like 45-minute periods every single day. We had 80-minute periods every other day. But if you can put your phone away for like 45 minutes and then obviously check it during passing period, like make sure your parents didn't text you, or, you know, make a plan with a friend for lunch, like, but don't be checking it during class. You should be focusing, and it'll help you understand the content so much better if you're not distracted by your phone the whole time. And it'll just really make you feel like you understand, you know what's going on, and you're not going to be stressed later about like, oh my god, I wasn't paying attention, I have no idea what this homework is saying, and I have to go in and meet with your teacher. Just pay attention the first time, it'll really help you later. The next tip that I have, tip number 6, is to make time for yourself and have hobbies. This might seem kind of counterintuitive, but, you know, take time for yourself, and this could be like your morning or your night routine. You know, if you want to do something like journaling or meditating, do some yoga, or even just work out, reading, like just have a hobby so that you can kind of like take time away from studying. It's okay to take breaks, and you should be taking breaks. You cannot go forever. It'll help reduce your burnout if you have your own hobbies and your own time, and you make time for yourself and your friends and everything like that. And then going along with that, number 7 is to join some extracurriculars. And these can be anything, you can do, you can do a sport, you can do something in music, you can do any sort of club. For me personally, I was in music mostly. I was in the marching band, the concert band, the jazz band, but then I was also in mock trial, which is kind of like a law club. So it kind of went along with like academics, but it was something a little bit different than I'm typically doing every day in class. So like I said, with the hobbies, it breaks up your day. You're not getting burnt out from doing schoolwork 24/7. And it's also more productive than just sitting and brain rotting. You make new friends, you can learn something new. There are clubs where you can go out and do community service, so you're helping other people, and it's just so much better than just sitting in your bed doing nothing or studying all the time. It's just really important to join extracurriculars, and I would highly, highly, highly recommend that. But tip number 8 is to get some cute school supplies. You can still be within a budget on this. You do not need to break the bank. Please do not be breaking the bank. You do not need to buy the most expensive mild liner highlighters that are super expensive for no reason. Just see kind of what you have. I have some highlighters that I have, or some markers that I use, like I said, for my notes, just to make sure my notes are organized. Make sure you have some Post-its. Kind of get what you have, or get what you use, but cute versions of them. Target has some cute versions, and honestly, I got really cute folders. They're just plain white plastic folders. They're 50 cents at Target. So I got 2 or 3 of those for this upcoming year, and I had them from sophomore year to senior year of high school. So you can also use them over and over again. Especially folders are super easy to reuse. And then even if you really don't have the money to go out and buy new supplies, you can also customize your existing supplies. Put some stickers on them, do some drawings, use your talents and your creativity to kind of customize them, make them cute so that you feel like you want to study. You're not just writing with old pencils that are breaking all the time. You're writing with cute pens and highlighters, and it just makes it a lot more fun. Now, tip number 9 is do not forget to take care of yourself, both mentally and physically. So again, this kind of goes along with the hobby thing that I talked about earlier, but make sure you're showering and brushing your teeth, doing your skincare and wearing deodorant and all that. That girl is not stinky and greasy. But still going along with that, you also want to make sure you're mentally okay. So, reading or going to therapy, doing some self-care things, that is also super important. Please take care of yourself. And again, you do not need to buy the most expensive products. You don't need to buy a crazy skincare routine or this journal that's supposed to heal you. Take the notebooks that you already have and just start journaling. Or I personally, my skincare routine, I have sensitive skin, so maybe it's a little different, but I typically in the morning I only use sunscreen and moisturizer on my face. I really don't do anything else. And then at night I wash my face and again do moisturizer, and pretty much that's it. I keep it very simple, and less is more. My skin is not perfect, but it actually is pretty clear. So sometimes overloading your face just doesn't work, but you don't have to break the bank. And then finally, my last tip number 10, is to just romanticize everything. Kind of combining everything that I've said today, make sure that you are romanticizing your life. Listen to your music and study like you're in a coming-of-age movie, and go for long walks in the middle of the day. Really take advantage of it. You're only in high school for so long. You're only in college for so long. And you want to look back and know that you made the best of it. So really take the time to make the best of it now. I hope these tips helped you. These were things that I did throughout high school, and I'm hoping to continue to do throughout college. And I hope you all have a wonderful school year. If you have not started already, a wonderful rest of your summer. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.